Hey girls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be a list of my most anticipated releases for the month of February. It's a pretty short list this month. I have 5 books that I'm going to be talking about. I do have a couple more anticipated releases for February, but as a general rule of thumb, I don't really talk about sequels or other books in long-standing series. So all the books on this list are going to be either standalone novels or first books in series. But with those disclaimers, I'll be leaving information for all the books linked down below as well as on the screen with me. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Now, starting off on February 1st, we have String Follow by Simon Jacobs. And this is a darkly comic suburban gothic book about a malevolent force that targets a group of Ohio misfits, harnessing their angst for its sinister designs. Something strange is happening to the teens in Adena, Ohio. A mysterious force is seeking inroads, vulnerabilities to exploit, friendships to hijack, untapped rage to harness towards its own ends. Claire is abrasive and aimless, embarrassed by her privilege. Weak-willed David entertains fantasies of cultish orgies, while Tyler covertly takes up residence in his basement. Greg wages war on the voices in his head, while his sister Beth quietly, furiously unravels. At the center is empathetic, naive Sarah. The Force wants her most of all, but will she be the key to its success or its destruction? String Follow is a razor-sharp suburban gothic that exposes the sweating, bleeding truth of how kids become adults in 21st century America. Now, this one I'm excited about because number one, I grew up and spent most of my life in Ohio, so I think that this could have the potential to be very nostalgic for me, and also I feel like if it really evokes a sense of place and time and feels like an Ohio book, I think it'll be very effective horror for me. So I'm interested to see that, as well as just a group of kids, the coming of age story set with a horror backdrop. That's always something that I'm really fascinated in and something that I'm always really interested in. When it comes to horror, those themes just tend to work really well for me. So I'm very interested in picking this one up, as well as I just love a good gothic. I like Southern Gothic. I know Ohio's not Southern, depending on where in Ohio you go. Southern Ohio can get a little Southern. Nevertheless, I'm very excited to check out this book and check out some Ohioan coming of age horror. Next up on my list is one that I've been anticipating for a while. I did think it was coming out in January. I think the release date has been moved around a lot. Fingers crossed this is the final release date for it, but that is going to be Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This comes out February 8th. So this is Titanic meets The Shining in this sci-fi horror novel. That's all I need to know, but honestly the rest of this just sounds so cool, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the whole synopsis anyway, but it really has me sold at that tagline. But this is a novel in which a woman and her crew board a decades-lost luxury cruiser and find the wreckage of a nightmare that hasn't yet ended. Claire Kovalik is days away from being unemployed when her beacon repair crew picks up a strange distress signal. With nothing to lose and no desire to return to Earth, Claire and her team investigate. What they find at the other end of the signal is a shock. The Aurora, a famous luxury space liner that vanished on its maiden tour of the solar system more than 20 years ago. A salvage claim like this could set Claire and her crew up for life, but a quick trip through the ship reveals something isn't right. Whispers in the dark, flickers of movement, and words scrawled in blood. Claire must fight to hold on to her sanity and find what really happened on the Aurora before she and her crew meet the same ghastly fate. I love The Shining. I love horror books that are like The Shining, with that isolation, one setting where you're kind of trapped in. Space horror is really effective for me. I'm very, very excited for this one. This is also a Tor Nightfire release, and for the most part, they have only been coming out with like smash hit after smash hit, at least for me. I've really enjoyed all that they've been coming out with recently, so this one sounds like it's just going to be incredible. I mean, The Shining in space sounds wonderfully creepy. Next up, we have another book also actually coming out from Tor Nightfire. That's going to be Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin. This comes out February 22nd. This is a post-apocalyptic novel, and this is following Beth and Fran, who spend their days traveling the ravaged New England coast, hunting feral men and harvesting their organs in a gruesome effort to ensure they'll never face the same fate. Robbie lives by his gun and one hard-earned motto: other people aren't safe. After a brutal accident entwines the three of them, this found family of survivors must navigate murderous turfs, a sociopathic billionaire bunker brat, and awkward relationship dynamics, all while outrunning packs of feral men and their own demons. Manhunt is a timely and powerful response to every gender-based apocalypse story that failed to consider the existence of transgender and non-binary people from a powerful new voice in horror. So I'm very excited to pick this one up because definitely I think like it does kind of touch on a lot of new ideas in post-apocalyptic fiction, not necessarily even new ideas, but ideas that just haven't been touched upon. So I'm very intrigued. I used to be super into post-apocalyptic things, especially like zombies, like the golden like Walking Dead age of zombies where that really was big. 2013, 2014-ish, I feel like zombies really had another heyday for a little bit there. Kind of got burnt out myself on them, but I'm really ready to tackle new post-apocalyptic things from new voices with new perspectives. This sounds very intriguing and I'm looking forward to picking it up. Next up on my list, I'm realizing this is a very horror heavy list, but I'm excited about it. That's going to be Tripping Arcadia by Mayquist. This comes out February 22nd. So this is a gothic novel and it follows med school dropout Lena. She's desperate for any job to help her parents who are approaching bankruptcy after her father was injured and laid off nearly simultaneously. When she's offered a position working for one of Boston's most elite families, the illustrious and secretive Verdeaux, she knows she must accept it, no matter how bizarre the interview or how vague the job description. By day, she's assistant to the family doctor and his charge Jonathan, the sickly, poetic, drunken heir to the family empire, who is as difficult as his illness is mysterious. By night, Lena discovers the more sinister side of the family as she works overtime at their lavish parties, helping to hide their self-destructive tendencies and trying not to fall for Jonathan's alluring sister Audrey. But when she stumbles upon the knowledge that the Verdeaux patriarch is the one responsible for the ruin of her own family, Lena vows to get revenge, a poison-filled quest that leads her further into this hedonistic world than she ever bargained for, forcing her to decide how much and who she's willing to sacrifice for payback. Tripping Arcadia is a page-turning and shocking tale with an unforgettable protagonist that explores family legacy and inheritance, the sacrifices we must make to get by in today's world, and the intoxicating, dangerous power of wealth. So this sounds sapphic, which I'm looking forward to. Another gothic novel, I believe. This is historical fiction as well. The synopsis that I found didn't really give me a sense of time or place for this one, so maybe historical, definitely gothic. Sounds like it's going to be sapphic as well. Very excited for that. It almost gives me Death of Jane Lawrence vibes with the whole going to a setting with like ancestral family secrets and being an outsider that's also an insider simultaneously. I loved that book. I'm looking forward to checking this one out. It sounds like such an interesting premise. And last but most certainly not least on my list, we have The Paradox Hotel by Rob Hart, also coming out on February 22nd. So this one is a locked room murder mystery set at a hotel for time travelers, in which a detective must solve an impossible crime even as her own sanity crumbles. For someone with January Cole's background, running security at a fancy hotel shouldn't be much of a challenge, except the Paradox is no ordinary hotel. Here, the ultra-wealthy guests are costumed for a dozen different time periods, all anxiously waiting to catch their flights to the past, and proximity to the time port makes for an interesting stay. The clocks run backwards on occasion, and rumor has it ghosts stroll the halls. Now January's job is about to get a whole lot harder, because the US government is getting ready to privatize time travel technology, and a handful of trillionaires have just arrived to put down their bids. Meanwhile, there's a blizzard rolling in and the time stream's acting strange, which means nobody's leaving until further notice, and there's a murderer on the loose. So this one, I haven't been in a thriller kick lately, but I do enjoy a good locked room mystery. I really enjoy the time travel and ghostly elements that are taking place in here. That sounds incredibly exciting. It also almost gives me Westworld vibes, where you have, it sounds like a futuristic society, and these people with wealth and privilege, I'm assuming, are the only ones able to pay for this really immersive experience in the past. So I'm very interested to check that out. It definitely sounds like it's going to be such a unique mystery premise. And there you have it. Those are some of the books that I'm really looking forward to checking out that release in the month of February. Definitely, if you have any books that you think I should check out that release in February, leave them down below. But that is going to be it for this video. Definitely looks like at least least for me, February is going to be very horror packed, just based on this list and the anticipated releases that I'm looking forward to picking up. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content from me, stay safe, stay spooky, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!